So another blind reacts. I don't know anything about this. This is Liz Borden, and apparently this is a young lady lived around the 1800s, maybe late 1800s sometime. But apparently her family was unalived, and yeah, so they. And I guess, I sort of skimmed something. I don't know. I think I read it somewhere prior to looking up information on it. Apparently, they walked in and they were like, "Hey, yo, your family is gone. Why are you still here?" I don't know. So I don't know if that's the case. We'll see. But Liz Borden, here we go.
The Borden, Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. The Borden murder, a notorious crime that occurred in 1892 in Fall River, Massachusetts. Andrew Borden, a successful merchant, and Abby Borden, his second wife, were brutally murdered in their home with a hatchet. Lizzie Borden, Andrew's daughter, was arrested and placed on trial for the homicide as the main suspect. Lizzie Borden in their home with a hatchet. Lizzie Borden, 92 in Fall River, Massachusetts. Andrew Borden, a successful merchant, and Abby Borden, his second wife, were brutally murdered in their home with a hatchet. Lizzie Borden, Andrew's daughter, was arrested and placed on trial for the homicide as the main suspect. Lizzie Borden became a household name due to the case's national attention and intense media coverage. The trial was a spectacle, with startling testimony and details which polarized public opinion on her guilt. While there is little doubt that Lizzie Borden committed the crime is not quite exact. Abby, Lizzie's stepmother, was 64 years old, and a hatchet, not an axe, was used as the weapon. And fewer than half of the rhyme's strikes struck the victims, 19 of which struck Abby and 10 of which rendered the 69-year-old Andrew's face unrecognizable. Nonetheless, the rhyme accurately depicts the order of the which occurred approximately an hour and a half apart on August 4th, 1892. Fall River, Massachusetts, a textile mill town 50 miles south of Boston, was a melting pot of new immigrants and wealth division between the different classes. Not only was Fall River shaken by the savagery of the crime.
Yeah, I was wondering, about, their immigrants, I guess. I was wondering about their skin complexion and I think the mom's hair. I was like, oh, okay.
But also by the standing of the victims. Debates over Lizzie's culpability or innocence would be shaped by the town's cultural, religious, class, ethnic, and gender divisions, and would draw an entire nation into its grisly specifics. In the early hours following the discovery of the bodies, the only known facts were that the victims in broad daylight on a bustling street, 1 block from the city's financial district. There was no clear motive, such as theft or sex assault. Neighbors and bystanders did not hear anything, and no one saw a suspect entering or exiting the Borden property. Andrew Borden was not a typical citizen. Like other Bordens from Fall River, he was wealthy and influential. He had made investments in mills, banks, and property. However, Andrew had never flaunted his fortune.
I immediately think of the Menendez brothers.
He lived in a modest home on an unfashionable street rather than on the hill, Fall River's affluent, trendy neighborhood. Lizzie, who was 32 years old and lived at home, wished to live on the hill. She was aware that her father could afford to leave a community dominated by Catholic immigrants, and as a staunch Protestant, she couldn't understand why he wouldn't. Lizzie and her older sister, Emma Lenora Borden, attended Central Congregational Church and had a relatively religious upbringing. Lizzie took part in many church activities as a young woman, including teaching Sunday school to the children of recent immigrants to the United States. She participated in religious organizations, including the Christian Endeavor Society, the Women's Christian Temperance Union, and the Ladies' Fruit and Flower Mission. Andrew wed Abby Durfee Gray 3 years after Lizzie's mother, Sarah, passed away. Lizzie stated that she referred to her stepmother as Mrs. Borden and was unsure if they had a cordial relationship. One thing she was sure of was that she believed Abby had married her father for his money. Bridget Sullivan, the Borden's Irish-born 25-year-old live-in housekeeper, testified that Lizzie and Emma rarely ate meals with their parents due to the palpable tension in the Borden home. In July 1892, an unspecified family dispute prompted both sisters.
I wonder if it was simply because, I don't know much about the interaction, but I would like to know more about the interaction leading up to the marriage. Does Lizzie and the sister maybe not like her because they think that she's trying to replace their mom? Or is there something shady about her?
to take lengthy vacations in New Bedford. Lizzie chose to remain in a local boarding house for 4 days after returning to Fall River Sisters to take lengthy vacations. That Lizzie and Emma rarely ate meals with their parents due to the palpable tension in the Borden home. In July 1892, an unspecified family dispute prompted both sisters to take lengthy vacations in New Bedford.
So apparently this is something that the father that was kind of on his own about. And since she's 32, she's like, yo, I don't have to take this. I don't have to agree with you on anything. But apparently instead of just being an adult about it, it could be the case, if it's to believe what the video is saying, if she wants to live up on the hill. But first of all, I want to live a certain lifestyle. My father is not allowing me to do so. He apparently has not given me the money so that I can go live on the hill. And why would he? I'm not married at this time in the late 1800s. The only way that I could probably do that is if I got married and I could have a reason to go live up there on my own. But maybe at this time, it's not reasonable for women to go live on their own. I don't know. I'm just speculating, given the times. But, as I'm looking right here, this is not a full-on smile. This is more like a, she's just posing. And obviously, back in this time period, they didn't really smile a lot in their pictures. But that wasn't the point. The point here is her body language, her body posturing. Her head is slightly tilted to the right. It's almost like, can we go ahead and get this over with? It's like, Lizzie, are you happy? I'm okay. I'm fine. So it definitely seems like she has some things that she's not happy with. And she's the type of person, apparently, from what it seems like, from what I'm hearing, she's the type of person to don't start nothing. It's not going to be anything. But if I do feel like I need to say something, I will say something. And maybe I won't say something to the person's face. It's almost like bratty in a way. I won't say something to the person's face, but I will go talk to my dad and whine. And he's like, well, Lizzie, this is where I'm going. Why can't you just be happy for me? Because Dad, I don't like her. She's not mom, so on and so forth. And it could be the case that this tension that they were feeling and having a problem with was maybe something that she tried to talk to her stepmom or come at her stepmom in a very low key, but in a very, sort of covert way, low key. But her stepmom read the energy and was like, well, if that's the case, then it is what it is. Or nothing too threatening, but maybe she was, moving some jewels from one place to the next. And then, Lizzie came in and saw her cleaning up the house and moving some of her mom's jewels from one place to the next, just trying to get some stuff out the way and clean. And she's like, those are my mom's jewels. And she was like, I'm not messing with your mom's jewels. Well, I'm just saying mom's jewels belong over here. And, she was like, well, maybe if they didn't die, I don't live here long enough. Maybe you should come or what have you. So some sort of meaningless altercation goes on. And so Lizzie, I don't like you anyway. So that leads to something that she goes and tells her sister, but that leads to a little bit of a problem, which is why she would, when this bigger tension comes up, where we talked about maybe, and we'll assume that the example is true. You did something I didn't like. Maybe you touched something that didn't belong to you, because I have no other credit. I can't accuse you of anything. I can't say anything unless you do something that's questionable. But I can't get you on anything questionable. I have to get you on the fact that I don't like your attitude. And there's something just snobby and stuck up or whatever about you. You're fake. I can see right through you. You're only marrying my dad for his money. You're a con. And so I'm here to find it out. And so, it's kind of that bratty attitude to where I whine and complain and this and that to get my way. And her dad will give her way, except that Now he's pushing back a little bit. He's just doing it a little bit. But that's a problem for her, because without you coming in my dad's life, he never used to tell me no. And now he's telling me no because, she's like, well, I mean, I'm not, what do I have to do with that? Well, if you would have never been here. And so now the tension comes up to where maybe she says something at the dinner table and the stepmom is like, yo, you've been coming at me crazy a little bit too much. Now I'm gonna address it directly. That needs to stop. I didn't disrespect you. And so that's whatever. I'm going on vacation. That's when Lizzie jumps up with her sister. Whatever. I'm going on vacation. Dad, if you're going to let her treat us like this in our own home, then this is what I'm doing. We're going on vacation. On vacation, probably talking. I don't like her. We need to do something about not in the sense of, we're not there yet. I want to see if there's a trespass that happens that just sends it over the top and would cause what we see in the outcome to push anyone. I can't assume that it's Lizzie right now, but to push anyone.
Lizzie chose to remain in a local boarding house for 4 days after returning to Fall River a week before them.
Yeah, so I go on vacation. I come home. I got to return from vacation. But sometimes when you return from vacation or whatever, I don't even want to see you. So I'm just going to go somewhere else so I don't have to see you. So she's extremely upset with her for what it's getting to the point of outright rebellion of this relationship. I outright abhor this relationship. I don't care whether I have good reasons for it or not. I don't like this relationship, whatever. And it's getting to that point.
Before finally returning to the family residence. Before the tensions were rising within the Borden family, particularly over Andrew's donations of real estate to various members of Abby's family. The evening before, Lizzie and Emma's maternal uncle, John Vinicum Morse, was invited to stay for a few days to discuss business matters with his brother-in-law, Andrew. Some authors have theorized that their conversation, especially regarding property transfer, may have exacerbated an already tense situation. Before, the entire household had been violently unwell for several days. Later, a family acquaintance hypothesized that the mutton left on the stove for several days to be used in meals was the cause, but Abby had feared poison, given that Andrew had not been a popular man, especially with his spoiled daughters. On August 4th, 1892, Bridget Maggie Sullivan, the maid, awoke with such severe nausea that she threw up after preparing breakfast.
I'm going to stop it right here. But I think, yeah, that's what's going on. So this is his wife. What do you think he's going to do? That's where they got the problem. Why are you, first of all, it seems like you push your mama out. But, it's been 3 years. It's like, yeah, but now I got to find somebody. Why you push your mama out? I don't like that. Number one. Number two, you starting to give this woman land that belongs to us. That I feel, it's his land. He can do whatever he wants. But you starting to give this woman land that belongs to us. That is where the problem comes. And people deal with that in different ways. But that's where tensions are going to start to pick up. Because are you really going to do this? So jump in on the next video. And we'll kind of continue to explore this. Before then, comment, share, like, subscribe. And until the next video, take it easy.